Welcome back, Wabesa. I know it's been a long time, but we are back. We are back and better than ever. We've got a new detachment, and let me tell you, this feels like classic Tau. It feels like the Tau at the end of ninth edition. All the cool things are all coming back. Our ranges are coming back. Our cool little extra weapons that we can give our guys are coming back. The prototype systems are really, really coming back with the experimental prototype cadre. Anyways, without further ado, let's get on into it. So we have been gifted this beautiful new detachment, and I dare say this might replace many of the other ones that we have. Not necessarily because the other ones that we have aren't good, but because this one is just so stellar in so many departments. Or maybe it's just my favorite way to play, I can't tell which. But anyways, the detachment rule is Superior Craftsman. The applied science divisions of the Earth cast labor endlessly to provide frontline units with expertly crafted instruments of destruction. Translation, you get to add 6 inches to the range characteristic of range weapons equipped by Tau Empire models from your army. You know what that means? Our pulse rifles are going back to 36-inch range. Our missile pods are going back to 36-inch range. Our plasma rifles are going back to 30-inch range. Our fusion blasters are going back up to 18 inches of range. Beautiful. I missed that, let me tell you. And we've got a couple improvements because now our flamers are 18 inches of range. The Overwatch threat that we have, the Overwatch potential that we have has gone up exponentially, and I will show you how much worse it has gotten for our opponents once we get into the special weapons we have. Because with the flamer getting an extra 6 inches of range, meaning it's 18 inches, there's a certain projector, shall we say, of flames, Thermoneutronic projector, one might say. All right, screw it. We'll do the Thermoneutronic projector first. I'm just too excited. This bad boy gives a Tau Empire model. One of their flamers gets replaced with a flamer that has improved the strength characteristic of that by 2. So now it is strength 6 instead of strength 4. And the armor penetration is improved from armor penetration 0 to 1. And the damage characteristic is improved by 1 as well, up to 2. So this is a weapon that has d6 attacks, strength 6, AP minus 1, damage 2. Beautiful. But the kicker is it's 18 inches of range. So we've got a marine melter for a flamer, which ups the lethality of our Overwatch so much more. You put these guys in a flamer squad, a commander with this in a flamer squad, and that means that he is absolutely melting anything that goes by because he gets the extra armor penetration for anything that is infantry, which is absolutely beautiful. So that is an AP minus 2 flamer. AP minus 2 flamer. Strength 6, AP minus 2, 2 damage. It is absolutely insane. Anyways, now let's backtrack. Supernova launcher. I'm not as excited about this. It's still good. It replaces airburst fragmentation projector. Equipped by the bearer, you improve the strength characteristic of that weapon by 3, which means it'll be strength 7, I believe. I haven't used an airburst fragmentation projector in so long. Let me know in the comments when the last time any of you used an airburst fragmentation projector, because last time I checked, these things might as well not exist. But I digress. Hopefully, the Supernova launcher will bring them back a bit. So, I misspoke, actually. The airburst fragmentation projector is not strength 4 natively. It's strength 3, which means it'll be strength 6, which is good. But you also get to improve the armor penetration and the damage characteristics of this thing by 1. So it'll be strength 6, AP minus 1, 2 damage. Not terrible. It is also indirect fire and blast, so it has a shot at messing up your opponents a little bit better for large units that you're going into. So it's not terrible, but I don't see many people using the Supernova launcher. That being said, strength 6, AP minus 1, 2 damage. Not bad. Could also go well with the... Oh, who am I kidding? This is just an objectively worse Thermoneutronic projector. Because you get d6 attacks, but you have to roll to hit. Or the projector, you don't have to. Anyways, down the way to the plasma accelerator rifle. For a Tau Empire model only, as always. you get to replace one of your plasma rifles with the bearer. Improve the strength characteristic of that weapon by 2, which means we have strength 10 plasma rifles. Sounds familiar? Something about strength 10, maybe an Oninger gauntlet. And you improve the attacks, armor penetration, and damage characteristics of that weapon by 1. So now you have a strength 10 with 2 attacks, strength 10, AP minus 4, damage 4 weapon. Ooh, that feels good. That is going to do a lot of damage. It really just feels like we got the Honor Gauntlet back. Especially with the ability to shoot into combat now, I do firmly believe that we have this new way to do melee Tau. And speaking of melee Tau, my favorite of all of the new enhancements that we can bring, the Fusion Blades. We are back, baby. We are so back. Get your old Fusion Commanders out from the ages of old, and the Fusion Blasters now have become Fusion Blades, and we can really cut our opponents up in close combat. Well, probably not, but I'm going to pretend like it is. Oh, I miss the Fusion Blades. We have really been thrown a nice bone here. I really wish it was given to, like the Farside Enclaves, and we actually had a bit more of a dedicated melee feel to it, but I will take it in this version, because in this version, you get to select one Fusion Blaster equipped by the bearer, and you improve the attacks characteristic of that weapon by 1, which means now you have 2 attacks. Brilliant. You improve the strength characteristic of the weapon by 3. You know what that means? You go from strength 9 to strength 12. Strength 12! And that weapon has the Melt of 4 ability. You give this to one of your commanders, and you have better Fusion Blasters than Shadow Sun. Shadow Sun only has strength 10 on her Fusion Blasters. Now you have strength 12. She gets 2 attacks. You also get 2 attacks. She gets Melta 2. You get Melta 4. It just feels good. And on top of that, with the extra range improvement, sure, Shadow Sun will be hitting people at 24 inches away. You will have to get close to 18 inches for this to work, but I feel as though this extra pip of damage will do everything you need. Let me tell you, I am so excited to use this. I'm thinking like fusion galore. Not to mention, you will be better than Shadow Sun. Sure, you don't get the reroll 1s, and you hit on 3s instead of 2s, but you'll be guided, so it'll be fine. But you can add up to 3 more Fusion Blasters on this guy. So you might only have 2 that are at the quality of Shadow Sun's, minusing a little bit of range. But you will still have 3 others potentially, or 2 and then a shield generator, however you want to put it. But that's a lot. That's a lot of Fusion Blasters. Like, make someone build the General Grievous Cold Star Commander, where it's got 2 Fusion Blasters coming out of his jet-propelled backpack, and then like 2 fusion blades on his arms. They're all just a bunch of fusion blades just meshing enemies up. Anyways, exciting stuff, very exciting stuff. And now, with all that out of the way, be still my heart. It's all over. The excitement is done. We're going to the stratagems. But the stratagems are still pretty good, because I've been lamenting for some time. Why don't any of our battlesuit models have any ability to repair themselves? Every enemy I've come up against has an ability to repair their technology in some way, shape, or form. The AdMech does, all the Chaos do, the Space Marines do. Like, we need some sort of tactician on the battlefield that can just fix up our battlesuits as they fight. But I will take the stratagems. Those will suffice. So first we have the automated repair drones. Not too bad, repair drones. Maybe we'll get an Earthcast guy that we can have with repair drones nearby him so he can fix up the battlesuits as we fight. That'd be pretty cool. So during your command phase, 1 Tau Empire battlesuit unit from your army is selected, and you select 1 battlesuit model in that unit, and that model regains D3 plus 1 wounds. This is really good for your big models, like your Riptides and your Ghost Keels if they get damaged. And it's also good for your Crisis Suits, because you could have 1 Rune Crisis Suit, and you can bump them back up to full practically. So very, very useful. Or even your lone commanders wandering around. Really exciting stuff. After that, we have the Reactive Impact Dampeners. During your opponent's shooting phase, or fight phase, just after an enemy unit has selected its target, 1 Tau Empire battlesuit unit from your army that was selected as the target of 1 or more of the attacking unit's attacks. Until the end of the phase, each time an attack targets your unit, with the strength characteristic of that attack is greater than the toughness characteristic of this unit, subtract 1 from the wound roll. This will be great. I'm mostly thinking of our Crisis Suits and our Riptides, because the Crisis Suits at strength 5, no, its toughness 5 aren't tough enough. I was really hoping that it'd get a toughness boost to 6 and then our broadsides to 7, but it was just not much. So strength 5 makes us very easy to be wounded by a lot of things. And if we're making it -1, they will never be able to wound us on 2s. And if they're wounding us on 3s because they've got like power fists coming down at us or other strength 8 or 9 attacks, it will be moved to 4s, which is very, very useful. I think this will come in handy. I've recently, if you've been watching the videos, been fighting Scarab Occult's Terminators, and these guys have a -1 to wound. They're also T5, and they're very, very hard to shift. This, mixed with them having an Enforcer Commander with them, negating AP, will be a very good combination in order to keep our guys much more durable. I like the durability that's coming along here. We can heal ourselves. We can prevent our opponents from damaging us as much. What more joy could we have coming our way? Now we get into the experimental weaponry. During your shooting phase, target one Tau Empire unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot this phase. Until the end of the phase, each time you roll one or more dice to determine the number of attacks made with a weapon equipped by a model in your unit, you can re-roll the result. You know what this means? You get the Thermoneutronic projector, you pop that sucker into a big old flamer squad. And you roll a bunch of 1s and 2s. You can keep the 5 and 6 that you rolled, and then re-roll all the bad rolls, so you can guarantee the maximum number of shots possible. I was going to say you can use it on a Storm Surge, but I just realized it's Titanic. I'm not so sure that you can spend this on them, but feel free to correct me in the comments. But for big flamer bricks, that will definitely be coming with a Thermoneutronic projector, or even if you feel so inclined, the Supernova launcher, then this will be very, very handy. Afterwards, we have experimental ammunition. I'm really excited for this one. During your shooting phase, one Tau Empire unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot this phase, each select one of the following to apply to your unit until the end of the phase. Improve the strength characteristic of ranged weapons equipped by this model in your unit by 1. So that means we're going from strength 5 pulse rifles to strength 6, which is pretty good. They're almost on par with breachers. And if you improve the strength and armor penetration characteristics of ranged weapons equipped by models in that unit by 1, and those weapons get the hazardous ability, that's the only catch. We have breachers that have 36-inch long guns. To be fair, that'll only be 10 shots, but still strength 6, AP -1. That is crazy. And this is just a 75-point unit. Sure, they have a hazardous ability, and they might mortal wound themselves to death, but simultaneously, they're not that expensive. Like, I know we're Tau, we love taking care of our guys, we're not all about blowing ourselves up in combat, but simultaneously, this is not a bad trade as far as the game goes. Like, this experimental stuff is phenomenal, one might say, especially if we were to stack it onto guys that already have the hazardous keyword being rolled. Now, I don't particularly think of any need for why a Riptide would need the strength and armor penetration boost, because not many things are strength 9. So it's strength 8 gun being boosted up to strength 9, not that impressive. The AP is already out of this world, ridiculous. Maybe if it were necessary for some of the Fusion Blaster guys, so we get a little bit of that oomph for the Fusion Blaster. If you were to stack this on top of your Fusion Blades that you have, you'd go from, 12 to 13. That is ridiculous. I don't know anything that's toughness 13. You'd be wounding everything on 3s. Oh yeah, if you're in a fusion unit as well, 3s re-rolling everything. And all of your other guys around you would be up to strength 10, re-rolling everything. So most like 4s and 5s re-rolling, which is very, very spicy. But I digress. We're just going to be melting everyone, I'm noticing. All the melting of all the people. And if you give this to your breacher squads, you get mini missile pods. You get strength 7, AP -2 attacks. But they only do 1 damage, but it doesn't matter. You've got missile pods practically firing out of these boys, and if you're shooting at something on a unit, this thing could be a tank killer. One of my breacher squads with Cadre Fireblade laid low Magnus, and it would have been that much easier if we had 2 AP so we could bump him up to his 4 up invuln. Strength 7 versus strength 6, they're wounding him on 5s no matter what, but even so, that is very, very hot. We are everything here is just bouncing off the wall, exploding, really good. The hazardous is a little bit of a drawback, but it is what it is. The restriction is, though, you cannot target the same unit with the experimental armor, experimental ammunition, and threat assessment analyzer systems in the same phase, which is fair because the threat assessment analyzer, that one's a good one. So during your shooting phase, a Tau Empire unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot this phase gets the Sustained Hits 1 ability, or Lethal Hits ability. Until the end of the phase, ranged weapons equipped by models in that unit have the selected ability. You can instead select Sustained Hits, Lethal Hits, and Hazardous abilities to apply to these weapons until the end of the phase. Just tons more shots. Tons and tons and tons of more shots. We're missing out on Mont Ka and Kai Yun by having this detachment, but let me tell you, for 1 CP, you can get both at the same time. Possibly blow up your battle suits, but still get both at the same time. And I'd say this is a very worthy trade-off. Like if you got a unit full of burst cannons, then that is a metric ton of dice that you're rolling. And you have a shot at blowing up one of your suits, or damaging one of your suits a little bit. But still, just the number of dice that you have that you're just dumping and dumping and dumping is ridiculous. It's a ton. And if you have missile pod suits, that's a total of 12 dice. You're going to average at least 2 6s from that, which means that you'll get a sustained hit and a lethal hit. So 2 of them automatically go through. You auto wound those 2, and then you get 2 more back. So you'll be making up for any misses that you had, and you'll have extra shots. So, not to mention you're re-rolling all the hits on this, so you could just fish for 6s to get your sustained and lethal, if the unit that you're shooting at is at full strength, because that's just the fire knife ability. Very cool stuff. But I digress. Like it says, the restriction is the same as the restriction of the prior stratagem. You can't use these 2 guys at the same time just because they're too overpowered. Not to mention stacking hazardous. You only have to take hazardous once. That's probably what they're thinking. It's like, the risk is we can't blow ourselves up twice, so let's just dump both of them. But I digress. At the end of all this, we have the Neuroweb system jammer. I remember this in the days of old. Now, your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy unit has selected its target's 1 Tau Empire crisis unit from your army that was selected as the target of 1 or more of the attacking unit's attacks. Until the end of the phase, your unit can only be selected as the target of a ranged attack if the attacking model is within 18 inches. You know what this means? We can stand our boys out in the middle of the road and have no consequences for our actions, because we can give them virtually a lone op. Think of all the lone ops that we'd have running around that would be running amok. We'd have ghost heals. You give them their fusion collider, that's 24 inches, man. 24 inches. You think that you're going to get within 24 inches with a tank to hurt the ghost heal? You're dead wrong. That thing's melt-a-gun is going to melt you. Strength 12, AP -4, D6, melt a 2. Lone op, you're not touching it. Blanking 2 damages that come through? It's not happening. With Neuroweb System Jammer, we get the exact same thing, but we can give it to a crisis suit unit. Even better. This entire detachment all around is amazing. I know that we're going to do phenomenal things with this in the upcoming games. I believe that there is a game calling my name in the near future where I will be able to put this to push it to the absolute, to the fullest test. I want to do an infantry spam one and a mech spam one just to see which one's better, whether I want to like blowing up my own little fire warriors best, or whether I like having a lot of the fury of the durability of my battle suits come back, mixed in with their new special weapons that they got. Fusion blasters turned into fusion blades. We are so back. We are so back. Fusion blades are back. We are so back. The greater good is being more good. It is the greatest good, one might say. We're just killing it. I am so hyped. And I hope that all of you are as excited as I am for this attachment. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. All I know is we're going to run roughshod over everybody. And I just can't wait to see how the dice are going to fall for this. And I can't wait to give you some battle reports of this, because it's happening in the near future. I promise you. Anyways, thank you all for watching so much. Let me know what you think is the best part about this new detachment and what you're going to do with it down in the comments below. I'd like to thank everybody for watching, and I'd like to thank my patrons. Der Estat, Anu Vivek, Samjer, Ryan Hall, David Polilio, K-Mag, Jonathan Patino, Chris F., Mark, Magnus Thrody, and created by Philip. Gentlemen, thank you all very much for helping support and keep the lights on out here. I am very appreciative, and I hope your day goes for the greater good. God bless you, folks.